Hello, and welcome to the Great Game Debate podcast, where friends come together to talk about video games and our lives. As always, I'll be your host, Kate Berthe Lane. And joining me, our man in the closet, Wes Bates. How you doing, man?
Doing great. How are you doing?
Pretty good. How's the weather over there in the closet this week?
It's finally getting cool and crisp outside out
Ooh.
here in California, and yeah, it's my favorite time of the year. Even better, there's a new Metroid game that's out this week.
Mm.
So I am doing just dandy. I got some extra game time this weekend. I got to go visit our good friend Brad Russell. He cooked me a delicious hamburger. I posted about it on Twitter if you want to see the hamburger I ate. It was phenomenal, outstanding. So I'm having a pretty good weekend so far, and now I get to be here with you lovely people. So
All
I
right.
can't complain.
Woo woo.
We are also joined by the godfather of the debate himself, Wesley. I was about to say
Wesley
Wesley
Jonah.
Jonah. You fused together. Jonah Gomez. How you doing, buddy?
Woo!
I
I'm
gotta
here.
say, you've been what are you improving your lighting situation?
What'd you say?
over
Your
there?
hair?
Oh yeah,
I
Your
am
hair?
hair.
I'm improving my hair and my lighting. My wife got some grow lights for her plants because in the Pacific Northwest it kind of gets dark and gloomy all the time, and so now that summer's on the downswing, she's like, I need to get grow lights for my plants so they don't die during the winter. I was like, okay, but that one's all like purpley, and so it looks pretty dope in the background.
Turn
Very
that on,
cool,
and then
very
you
cool.
turn on the blue lighting under your couch, and
Yeah.
man, you got some insane neon action going on.
Hopefully not cut off my cat's tail again.
Oh well.
Hopefully
You always
not.
have to dredge that up. I don't really want to get into re-explaining that. Anyway, we have the distinct pleasure this week of being joined by Game Informer's own Kim Wallace. How are you doing, Kim?
Good. I'm glad to be here.
Yay!
Woo!
Welcome.
Party time.
Yeah, thanks so much for joining us. It's really exciting to have you on, and we're looking forward to talking about some games with you. All right.
For
Well,
sure.
guys, I hope you stopped by Midgar Plate 7 on your way in to pick up the Buster Sword, because it's time for the Icebreaker. All right. So, Kev, we always like to have a short little interview with our guests when they come on. I'm sure these guys would like to pick your brain about Game Informer, but I was perusing some of your articles before the recording today, and there's some cool stuff I saw. You had a really interesting article that was like kind of about the history of Neon Falcom and like how they've grown over the years, and like there's a series of features you did, I think, kind of like about how the development and how like the development process has changed for all of Supergiant's games over the years. So that stuff's really, really cool. And I'm just kind of wondering, what would you consider like one of your favorite like features that you wrote or review or anything like that?
Wow.
Yeah.
This question is always difficult because I've been writing at Game Informer now for 9 years,
Wow,
and
that's
I
impressive.
tend to forget over the years with
Sure.
certain things that I write, but I mean, I am always like, features are my number one love. And so anytime I can really dive into a topic and talk to developers about how they make the games and what goes on behind that has always been some of my favorite things I've done. So I would think, favorite cover story, Horizon Zero Dawn,
Mm.
hands down. It was really cool going to Amsterdam and entering that studio, which like had all their Killzone stuff, but like
Yeah.
Aloy was kind of like hiding in the background, like ready to come out and
Sick.
take over. And like just their excitement, you could tell that they felt like they were really doing something that they were, you know, excited about and taking this risk, but like the whole team seemed behind it, and that was really cool to see. I think a few years ago I did a feature on video game addiction, if that actually like
Mm.
exists, in because there's so many different things, and the WHO had just recognized it as a disorder. And so for me, I wanted to dive into that and see what that meant. I mean, there's times where I'm just like, I play games a lot, like where's the line between
Yeah.
that? And it turned out to be like a really muddy and complex topic that like the research isn't really there supporting like one way or another. There's no doubt that some people have problems powering down, but it's like, what is even the right treatment? What is the course to go with? And so that was really fun. The most recent issue of Game Informer dives all into the localization process because
Oh,
I felt like,
Oh, that's super interesting.
yeah, I felt like, I just played the Great Ace Attorney Chronicles recently, and I'm like, God, the localization's so good. How do they like do all these things? And it's such a debated topic, right? Like everybody says they want like a direct translation. You don't really want that. You just want like it doesn't work. It doesn't exist. And
Mhm.
Going through and talking to professionals about ways that they've had to make even stuff like puzzles work for a different audience, which you don't really think about when they're coming through those games, are just like the gameplay and explanation. So I had to talk to some really great people for that. Janet Hasu from the Ace Attorney series, John Riccardi from 8-4, Jess Chavez, who's done she was with Exceed for a long time, and now she's doing more freelance, but she's worked on Fantasian. I've talked to people who worked on Scott Strichert, who just did Lost Judgment and has been
Okay.
working on the
Very cool.
Yakuza
Oh
series
yeah.
forever. So there's a lot of I think I interviewed a total of like 9 people for that, and just hearing like some of the deadlines and what they have to go through to try to make certain things work in another language. It's just stuff you don't even think about, really. I think that for me was just exciting to dive into and just learn more about. Those are my favorite types of features, when I can just like present to other people like, this is how the process actually is. Here's where some of the misunderstandings and misconceptions are, and this is what actually like the whole people where the struggles are, where the challenges are, and what everything kind of contains and comes down to. So that was a long answer to a
No
simple
worries.
question.
Oh, it
No,
was a great
that was a
answer.
Yeah,
fantastic
that's
answer.
that's a fascinating topic. I love that we're living in an age now where like we're kind of able to let other professions inside game development like have a spotlight shown on them. Like you have like these rock star game developers like Kojima that like used to get all of the focus, but then most people never think about stuff like the localization staff and how important that is. Or there was there's recently a show on Netflix about a history of video gaming, and I learned in that like there's a woman who was on the localization team for like the Famicom to the United States, and like she was like instrumental in like making that as popular as it was, just like even changing the way it looks and stuff. And
Mhm.
it's really cool to see stuff like that and how important it is to gaming outside of just the core game
And just
designers,
like stuff you don't think about, like these designers, when they come over, like they have to make stuff work in text boxes in these games. So,
Yeah.
you know, Japanese already can say so much with little characters, and then you bring it to like something like North America, and they have to make it work with less words but still say the same thing. And things like, I had somebody tell me that for one project, like a week before they changed the font size to make it more readable, well, it made all the text
Oh
boxes, so they had to go
no.
back in a week and
Oh.
redo all the work. But it's just like their character counts are killers. There's stuff we don't even think about when
Yeah.
that go into localization and the struggles they have.
Mhm.
That's
Well,
insane.
yeah, Jenna West, do you guys have any Game of Informer related questions for Kim
Uh
before we move to a
I've
different
got
topic?
I've got one question.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So when the Smash Bros announcement for Sora was going on and everyone was announcing it,
Uh,
I thought of one person, and I need to know what your reaction was when they announced Sora being in Smash.
So I had just woken up, and part of me was like, this is a dream, right? Like,
Yeah.
this can't be real. This can't be happening. Because as somebody who's actually worked a lot with the Kingdom Hearts team, and I've interviewed Nomura a few times now, the paperwork that they have to go through just to
mm,
do anything just
yeah.
amazes me. He even has been upfront, like the approvals back and forth. Because I was like, how do you even write this if you don't know if like Disney's gonna approve this with a character or a world, and he's like, yeah, I just, I start writing it, and we go back and forth, and he's like, so many approvals, like just so I was like, this can't be real, but it is. And so I told Brian Shea later in the day, I was like, we should add a camera on me, because there's one E3 that I think Dan Reichert, way back when they had Kingdom Hearts 3 first revealed, like I was dancing, I was like, feeling very victorious. It was a similar feeling to that, because like I said, I wanted him, but I'm like, it's never gonna happen, right? It's just like my dream of Kingdom Hearts having lightsabers one day. I'm like,
Sure.
a lightsaber Keyblade would be awesome. Is Disney ever gonna let them do that? I don't know. I don't think so. But like, then again, like, the impossible seems to be happening here and there. So yeah, I was stoked, and I think that was a great like final character. As I said, someone asked me, like, who else would you like to see? And I still want to see Phoenix Wright. If they could make him work in Marvel versus Capcom, they can make him work in Smash.
Yeah,
He's like, I want the objection just to, like, be able to, like, hit people back with. It'd be so awesome.
As a
But
counter, yeah. Oh, man.
Sora was my number one. So now I was just like, all right, I'm pulling back out Smash, because I haven't played it in a while, but for Sora, I will do this. Our good boy, he deserved it. He's finally growing up so fast.
I'm glad about it too, because he's not surrounded by Disney characters. They really get to let him shine as his own character, and like his stage and all the music and stuff. It's just like the Kingdom Hearts stuff and not necessarily the Disney stuff, which is nice.
Yeah.
Definitely. Oh, I can't wait.
Oh yeah.
What if I'm absolutely horrible with him as a character? That's always my like big worry when a character gets announced. I'm like, I'm really gonna want to play as this character, but what if they're just not my style? I gotta accept that. Like, oh, that's happened before. You get excited. I've gotten excited about character reveals in certain games, and I'm like, oh man, remember how excited I was for that character, and I thought they were gonna be my main forever, and just didn't work out. But hopefully, from all my Keyblade swinging out over the years, I will be a master with my Sora.
Yeah, I did appreciate how Sakurai said that, like, they, a lot of the times their DLC characters are a lot more technical, but they, specifically with Sora, tried to make him like easier to jump into and control for everyone. So that's really cool. I'm just gonna have a technical check real quick with Wes. How you doing, buddy? Can you hear us? Can you see us?
I hear you. Do you not hear me?
No, we can't now.
You froze for a little bit there.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was trying to tell Kim. I said, if you're really worried about that, you can play me, because I am the world's worst Smash Brothers player, and you'll decimate me no matter who you're playing. I guarantee it.
Hey, I could use the ego boost here and there some days.
Well, Wes, do you have a question for Kim?
Yeah, I had just a couple of questions for Kim. Just as we were chatting kind of before the show, I mean, you mentioned before how much you love traveling to Japan, and you've been there many, many times, sounds like. I was just wondering if you could share kind of like, if I were to go to Japan, what would you recommend? Like, let's say like 3 things that you have to do if you go to Japan.
Oh man, yeah, it's so. You've never been, correct?
No, I've done quite a bit of world traveling. I've never been to Japan, sadly. It's like the number 1 on my place to go, but I've never been.
Okay, I wish I could go back to like your first time in Japan. Like, you can never recreate it, because it is such a like. It was the first time for me, I think, I experienced, and it wasn't any form of like culture shock. It wasn't even like that different than what I thought it would be, but being there and seeing everything, and just like the way of life, and how it's very different than how ours was. Just like, I was in sensory overload, I think, too, for like the first few days of it, because like you're not used to, so it depends. Like, there's so many different places to go. So like, yeah, Akihabara, very loud, but always worth it, because to just see the love of video games on display. And for me, being a JRPG fan for all my life, there was a time where you couldn't just like walk into a store and find like Persona merch, like it felt so cool to just like all my like niche series that nobody ever were talking about. Like, I can find Fire Emblem stuff here. There's a whole Tales store up in this
Oh,
place,
that's
and
cool.
Very
Nice.
cool.
yeah, just to have that, like my like this thing that I was so passionate about and see it like represented all around me. And I'm a big figure hunter too. Like the better the figure. Oh, I got my Mitsuru figure for Persona 3 there, which is still one of my favorite figures. I have a Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney. I'm a big figure hunter. Like nothing gives me such a thrill than going through all the stores and finding the right one. It's so geeky, but like at the same time, there's just
That's
like
great.
nothing. Yeah, it's
Oh, it sounds
so
like a wonderful afternoon to me.
yeah. So you
or
definitely need to
or several.
hit there. Kyoto is definitely more naturey, but like I love that place because it's a little bit different vibe and a little not as busy as Tokyo proper, so you can kind of see more of the countryside, and the shrines are always really fun. And then I'm thinking there's so many places that keep going through my head is the problem right now, because I'm like, oh, Tokyo Skytree's okay. God, every time me and my fiance go to a new spot, the deer feeding park, I think it's called like Nara Park.
Oh,
So you
that's
just go up there and the deers will like come to you for
Wow.
cookies and food, and
Wow.
yeah, just
That's
right up,
cool.
yeah, there, that just to be surrounded. There are pictures of me like just with them all surrounding me, which like I don't know if I would have done that years ago, because like that would have been scary, but they're so
Yeah.
just like trained. But sometimes they do. They just like follow you because they know that you have the food. Yeah, the parks are all really nice. Gosh, there's like this serene feeling there too. And I don't know. I'm originally from Chicago, so I'm used to people just being rude, I guess. And like in Japan, they're so nice. I can't like it is so refreshing. Like even I had somebody, I was walking around trying to figure out where to go, and they could tell I was lost, but they didn't speak English. So they went and found somebody who spoke English to help me, like a
Oh,
businessman. Like
wow.
you just
That's
don't
cool.
see that here in America,
That's
because we're
insane.
sometimes jerks all on like this fast pace. But yeah, there's just a lot of things, like that are just so cool. And but I think if you're a video game fan, especially, like to just be embraced, like a place that embraces that so much, and just be up there and like turning the corner, and there's always like an arcade, and I always get stuck in those damn crane machines because I will win. Actually, I have one on my desk. I won a Kirby. This is
Oh,
Ooh,
nice.
Oh,
so cool.
That's
that was my moment, and it was so funny. He just kind of fell and tumbled over into it, and I was like, I'll take it. Like, it's not even that great of a triumph, but like,
Uh,
there's just karaoke is so much fun there. Oh god, there's so many things that I feel very fortunate that I've gotten to do in my job. But Japan is definitely, when they sent me that first year, and I don't share this often, but they had to convince me. I used to hate flying, and I did
mm,
not like, I was very skittish about it. I never thought I'd go overseas and just be able to like put me in a culture where like I don't speak the language. That's just scary to me.
hmm
yeah.
You know, and the fact that I've been able to do that and have now like, can navigate pretty well. And also thanks, my fiance comes with me, and he knows some Japanese, so that definitely helps in those
awesome.
yeah, and the ramen. You go for the ramen. And once you
Sure.
have ramen from Japan, you're never ever going to be able to like feel good about any other
Oh
ramen
no.
you eat. That's all I'll say is like I just it's something, they get that broth just perfect. It's
hmm
just delicious.
Oh man, it
Amazing.
sounds like a dream.
Yeah.
It
Did you
is.
mention you had one other question, Wes?
Yeah, I just have one other question, and Kim, I know you're a bit of an anime fan as well,
Mhm.
and I believe that you just put up an article on GI. I think it's called like Anime for Gamers
Correct.
or something similar.
Mhm.
So I definitely recommend everybody go check out that article. But I was just curious if you had any personal recommendations in the article or not in the article for anybody that's an anime fan that you would recommend.
Oh gosh, yeah, I'm always watching stuff. And so God, my favorites have really changed through the years. I like some of the older stuff, like Kids on the Slope.
Oh, I don't think I've heard that one.
Back Mongolian Chop Squad was high on my
Uh-huh.
list.
Yep.
Welcome to the NHK is really dark, but I like it for that reason
Yeah.
because I think that message and what you go through with that is really really powerful. New Game Plus is about an all-female video game development studio that's actually on that list, and I adore that one. That one's really really just cute and fun. I really like slice of life anime. Like my fiance always teases me. He's like, "Oh, I can always tell which one you're gonna watch," and I'm like, "True to life. I want a little bit of it." And I also really like sports anime. So
Mm.
like that
Oh yeah,
that
me too.
always that drags me in every time too. I'm watching one right now called Remain, where like this water polo player like has lost all his memories, and so he's trying to like re-get his game back and join a team that's obviously down and out and not very good. But yeah, I recently was watching The World Ends With You anime,
Oh, okay.
and
Oh.
Oh, okay.
it's got the music and it's so good to just relive it through that also. Watching a lot of different things.
Have you
So yeah,
seen
those are kind
Yeah,
of
that sounds.
Have you seen Wonder Egg Priority?
Yes.
Oh,
I
that's
actually
just
just
so
finished
sick.
that. Like that reminded me, like those fights were very Kingdom Hearts
Oh
style.
yeah.
I
Yeah.
was
Oh
like,
yeah.
yeah, that's what was like really caught my eye. Yeah, like I said, I am always watching like two or three of them at once. I was watching this really weird one, and I'm trying to think of the name of it. He's like he runs a children's TV show, but he's like
Oh.
the most dark and depressed guy in the world, and
Yeah.
is just
I
like
can't remember what it's
trying to.
called.
Yeah, he's supposed to be cheery, but he's like telling
Super
kids like,
cynical.
yes, but life is not like that. And like he goes these dark twists, and then has them in these weird situations. It's a more comical one that's really funny. Yeah, I love. I really got it actually into anime. I would say I was watching it a lot about a decade ago, and then I was busy with Game Informer, and then I think in the last like 3 or 4 years, I've really gotten back into watching a bunch of watching like two or three shows at a time. Like Funimation has all those simulcasts going on, and there's always like two or three I pick out that like
Mhm.
I gotta watch this.
Oh yeah.
Nice. Yeah, I don't think I've seen almost. I mean, I've heard of quite a few of those, but I don't think I've actually watched many of those ones that you mentioned. The New Game Plus sounds awesome. I think I'm gonna check
Yeah.
that out.
It is really good because like they have this fake MMORPG that becomes like popular, and then the first season is them getting that off the ground, and then they have an expansion. But the girl who it's her first day starting on the job, and she's just trying to prove herself as like an artist, and it's fun. It's a lot of fun.
Cool.
Yeah, that
Sounds good.
sounds
Thank you
awesome.
for the recommendations. Those are
Yeah.
all sound really good.
All right, guys, we've got a lot of homework to do, but
I
until
know.
then, it's time for the debate. So I'll
Oh
turn it over
boy.
to the judge, Jonah Gomez.
All right. I'm sorry if I'm being quiet today, y'all. I've got a little bit of a frog in my throat,
Mm.
but we're gonna truck on. Show must go on.
Does it have a large sword?
Oh, Wes Bates. Good old Wes Bates. In our debate today, some might say our West debates, he is going to be representing Kefka from Final Fantasy VI. And Kim is going to be representing Luca Blight from Suikoden 2. Let's get excited, everybody. Caden, how are you feeling right now? You can be our assist
Well,
trophy today.
disclaimer, I've played neither of these games, so when I come in as the assist trophy, what I plan to do is simply praise the characters from an aesthetic character design perspective. So we'll see how that goes.
That's awesome. All right. So we got 2 minutes for the intro, 2 minutes for your rebuttal, and 2 minutes for your closing thoughts. Kim, I'm going to flip this penny. Heads or tails?
Tales for the Tales series.
Ooh.
Oh,
It
I like it.
is It is heads. I'm sorry.
Oh no.
Wes, would you like to
No.
go first or last?
I will go first this time.
Okay.
I think.
Bless your heart and
Confidence.
soul.
Caden, do you mind
We'll see
keeping
about
time
that.
for me to today?
Sure. Yeah. Let me get my timer set up real quick.
Thank you. I appreciate it. My wife was so nice. She brought me an Italian soda.
Aw.
Oh,
Aw.
awesome.
What a sweetie. Oh my gosh.
All right. Let me know when you're ready, Wes, and I will count you down.
I think I'm ready.
3, 2, 1, debate.
What makes for a good RPG villain, or a good villain at all? In my opinion, aesthetics are a big part of it. And when you think of stuff that you don't like, clowns is is way up on the list for me. Everybody hates clowns. It's why characters like the Joker and the monster in Stephen King's It work so well. They're so creepy, and you know, you just don't know what they're gonna do. And that's one of the reasons why I think that Kefka from Final Fantasy VI is the best JRPG villain. Nay, I say the best villain in video games.
Ooh.
There's a lot of reasons to back this up. Okay, this guy is a nihilistic, psychopathic jerk. He is super caught up in himself, and he doesn't care about anybody else. He doesn't care what it takes to get to his goal. He has destroyed kingdoms. He poisoned an entire kingdom full of women and children just to spurn a war. And then he laughed about it. He said, and I quote, "There's nothing like the sweet music of hundreds screaming in unison." Then, on top of that, he decided it was too calm and peaceful, so he decided to burn the whole kingdom down afterwards. Along with that, he's a genocidal maniac.
30 seconds.
He's so interested in his own goals that he just treats other beings like they're nothing. He sucks the magic out of espers and throws them away like they're garbage. In fact, he did that to basically the entire kingdom of espers in the game. Along with that, he killed General Leo, who is quite possibly the most the coolest character, not only one of the most powerful, but coolest characters in the game.
Time. All right. Nice job, Wes. Nice job coming in strong.
Very nice indeed. Kim, how are you feeling after that?
I got this.
Oh, the confidence coming through. I love it. Very nice. All right, Kim. Let's rock and roll. Caden?
Okay, is this like my intro?
Yeah.
Yeah. This
Yeah.
is
Like
your
opening.
intro.
I'm not rebuttaling yet? Okay.
No,
I'm
no,
just
no,
making
no.
sure.
Yeah.
You're doing
Not
your
yet.
intro.
All right.
All right. 3, 2, 1, debate.
So back to what makes a good villain. A good villain is somebody who gets under your skin and makes you so angry that you feel like you have to best them, and nobody does that better than our friend Luca Blight, aka the Mad Prince is his title. Okay, he's ruthless. He slaughters people, no mercy. The first scene you see of this man, he tells a woman to beg for her life, and oink oink like a pig, he tells her, grovel to me. And what does she do? She gets on her knees, oinks like a pig, and he kills her anyway. And that is Luca Blight to me, to an extent. But that's not even like, that is like a sliver of what this man does, okay? Like, he murders villages. Like, he killed the most adorable child character in the game, Pelika, is the only survivor because he murders her entire village and her parents, and then you have to like help this little girl get through life and take her in, and it is a touching story. But this guy he felt a lot of pain in his past, and he wants the whole world to feel pain, and he's just a human. He's not an experiment gone wrong, but he just wants to kill people. And even in his death, he celebrates his own evilness.
30 seconds.
You know, it takes 108 stars of destinies and 3 parties of Suikoden's 2 massive casts to even take this guy down. Like, there's no denying that he is the pinnacle of evil, and you guys need to watch out if Luca Blight is in the room, because he will just slit your throat without any remorse or feeling.
Wow.
Wow.
That Oink Oink story gave me
that was
like
a compelling
goosebumps.
argument.
I know.
Yeah.
That was This game's not a horror game, right?
This like, I've never been so mad at a damn character that I replayed the game recently, and it's he still makes me so mad.
All right, Wes, are you ready for the rebuttal?
I'll do my best.
3, 2, 1, debate.
I won't deny that Luca Blight is a bloodthirsty psychopath. But my real question is why? What's his motivation? What is he trying to get to? I don't understand. I've tried to do a lot of research into this, and every time I look up information about the character, all I find out is he's bloodthirsty, he's a killer, he's psychotic, he's crazy. What's his end goal? Sure, he starts a big war between 2 armies just to kill more people, but why? I understand he may have a slightly tragic backstory. He had some stuff that happened to his mother that was very disgusting and wrong. But beyond that, I don't understand anything that he's trying to get to. Kefka, on the other hand, has a goal of taking over and reforming the world. He wants to become a god. He wants to take over the world. And I know that's a fairly cliche thing for a villain, but it absolutely works in his favor in this case. Luca may be as evil as Kefka, but he has no real flair. He just kills to kill. And the scale of his evil is so much smaller than Kefka's. War between 2 kingdoms. Spoiler for Final Fantasy VI. Kefka actually destroys the world. In the middle of the game, Kefka actually destroys the world. He wins. Do we know what happens to Luca in the middle of the game? We do. He's dead. Because you kill him, and he's gone for the rest of the game. It's very sad, but it seems like Kefka, is one of the few villains that actually is able to follow through with his plans. And although it takes 3 parties to take down Luca, it takes 3 parties just to get to Kefka. You can't even get to him without 3 parties. So you have to use literally all your characters just to get to him and form 3 parties just to get through his tower. So psychopath, yes, but motivationally, as a villain,
Ooh.
It's very hard to keep quiet during these. It's very hard.
Yes.
Wes is bringing the heat.
That's some research.
Oh yeah, Wes is bringing the heat. That was spicy, man. Kim, how are you feeling?
It's all right. She's gonna get me now. I can feel it. It's coming.
All right, Kim, are you ready to rock and roll?
Do this.
3, 2, 1, debate.
First off, killer clown, been there, done that, seen that. Okay. Second off, he actually does have Luca Blight watched his mom get raped in front of him, and it messed him up like hardcore. Some thieves came in and his dad ran off, and from that day on he was motivated by revenge, so he gets revenge on his father, and then also by the pain that he felt. He's like, I want other people to feel this pain. He desires to make the world feel pain like he has. He hates the world, and he's orchestrating an entire, kill it out of this hatred that he has. When he finally does die, this is his quote: "It took hundreds to kill me, but I killed humans by the thousands. I am sublime. I'm the truest faith of evil. Even in death," he says, "you know what? You might have got me, but look at this. I still killed way more people than they'll ever be able to, replace and get this going." So he had a lot of motivation. My thing with Kefka is that, he just thinks life, he has no, far-reaching goals. He just thinks life is meaningless. You should succumb to, the fact that you're gonna die. And I don't know. He seems like a big quitter to me in that way. I just gave up on the world and what it could be. And also, his head. his head got messed up when he did an experiment on him, so he's not inherently evil. Luca Blight is evil, not by design, by who he is and what happened. So nothing made him except having a very tragic event that set him on this path. I am done.
All right, conceding 10 seconds. The confidence, the sheer confidence.
Sheer confidence. I'm feeling the energy from you, Kim. Just a reminder for both of you, you still have 30 seconds of your assist trophy. You do not have to use it, but you can use Caden if you'd like. Wes, are you...
This is why I wanted to have Kim on the show for the debate, because I knew that she would get fired up and that she would bring the heat. This is exactly what we want on this show. So
oh, yeah.
No problem.
All right, Wes, are you ready to go?
Yes, I
Close
will.
it out. All right. Caden, give him the countdown.
3, 2, 1, debate.
Yeah, so I just want to mention one of the interesting things about Kefka that makes him so iconic is his laugh. Before he even enters the screen, you know he's coming because you hear it. He goes, and I actually have the sound bit ready to go, but unfortunately it won't play over my microphone. But that iconic laugh was so well received that Square actually utilized it in several other games. They changed how it sounded slightly, but they used it in Chrono Trigger and a few other RPGs. The interesting thing about Kefka is, he's got a kind of a god complex, but they make allusions to him as if he were the devil himself. And the last time you fight him, he's in a fallen angel form. That's actually a reference to the devil. So that's how evil he is, that Square actually considers him equivalent to the devil. Also, his music. He's got an insane music score that accompanies his final boss fight. It's 18 minutes long if you listen to the symphonic version, and it's amazing. If you haven't listened to it, please go listen to it. It's awesome. But he's just, he's got so much flair. He's very cunning.
30 seconds.
He dupes your whole party into thinking that he's been thrown in prison just so he could break out and, establish a plot with the Emperor to overthrow your party and basically take over the world. And he's just, he's smart, he's evil, he's cunning, he's powerful. Caden, please help me out.
Whoa, I have to set my own timer for 30 seconds. Let's go. All right, so just looking at this character design, concept art, classic Amano, extreme extravagance. So much flair, so many scarves, so many stripes, so many colors. Just a 10 out of 10 character design. And this guy, like a lot of problem a lot of women have with their significant others is they just don't meet their level of fashion. My wife has this own problem with me. She's always dressing up in these amazing outfits when we go out on a date, and I'm in a t-shirt and shorts. Kefka, you will not have that problem with. He will be your fashion icon if you date him. Okay, I'm done.
Oh my lord. I think we need to have Caden fashion review a bunch of characters. That'll be a new segment of the show. Caden's fashion corner.
I got him. Oh, I got him. The audio listeners, Wes just spit his drink out. Oh, man.
All right, Kim.
Oh my goodness.
Just a reminder, you still have...
My heart is racing here.
Just a reminder, you still have Caden for your assist trophy. And
if you want to use him.
If you want to use him. Other than that, let's close out this debate. All right, Caden, give her the countdown.
3, 2, 1, debate.
As we've established here, a laugh for a villain is necessary to be very good. Luca Blight equally has, in my opinion, a laugh that you don't forget, and he does it after every murder to really, like I said, get under your skin. I've never, when a character has walked across the screen to this day, feel like the anxiety and dread that I do with Luca Blight, because you know whatever is coming next is just going to be so damn vicious and it's going to hurt. And back in when this game came out, like, this was a PS1 RPG, like, you don't have flashy graphics, and they get across, like, that other dread of like just how this man has no limits, and that's what's scary about him is you don't know. Like, unlike traditional like princes in the Suikoden series, like they usually care for their kingdoms and citizens in some way, and they just use that to justify why they're doing bad things. But Luca's the complete opposite. He's only interested in destruction. He is only interested in bringing more people pain. And the fact that with all your 108 stars, like, that's the only way you can defeat him. And even in that final battle, you have to, there's a duel that you have with your main character and him, one-on-one. You have to defend every time, because if you screw up like once, like, he's gonna knock you out. Like, that is how powerful he is. And so it is so satisfying when you take him down, and then you can't even after that, you have to clean up all his mess. Because, like, just because the villain is dead doesn't mean all the nations he's affected, all the people suffering are any better. So, Hayden, assist.
Let's go. 30 seconds, setting my own timer. Okay, so I'm looking at this guy's character concept art for the first time. Oh my god, this guy is an absolute Chad. He has abs modeled on his breastplate. You want to talk about a knight in shining armor / bad boys? You date this guy, it's like you're getting the best of both worlds. He will use his resources as a prince to take you on the most extravagant dates, while also using his power and influence to murder and remove competing objects of his desire if you're jealous. Okay, I'm out of time.
Thank you, Caden, again, for
You got it.
squaring up the competition and letting us know how fabulous these gentlemen are.
Yeah.
All right. That's the end of our debate. And you know what? This was a good one. You both brought fantastic points for
Incredible.
each one. Wes, you're really getting me with that whole point of Kefka having like something that he's fighting for. Oh man, you're making this super hard. I'm sorry, but I'm gonna have to go with Kim. I'm digging the fire that she's bringing. I think with Luca Blight being this savage monstrosity of a man, just ripping through people without a care in the world, I think he's a little bit more evil.
Oink, oink.
God dang it.
Fair enough. So with that, we'll have to put it to the community for our community vote and see what the community thinks. But no, Kim, you did a great job defending Luca's honor, if he has any.
Oh,
Kefka will be up there high on my list of. I was glad that that's who you picked, because I was like, this is gonna be good. These are two really good JRPG villains.
Yeah, I read a lot of articles that basically said that Luca was. There was a Destructoid article I read that basically said, like, yeah, he's the best JRPG villain ever. Tons of other people that thought the same. So yeah, definitely a high up there.
What made me confident is, like, sometimes you're like, oh, am I blinded by I played this game like in the past, and was it really as bad as I thought it was? And I just recently, a few months ago, I was streaming Suikoden 2, and oh my god, I was like, this is even worse than I remember. Like, I think it hit me harder playing it as I was older. Like, this is just so vicious. And I don't know. These days, it's really hard, I feel like, for a JRPG villain, especially to incite, like, those feelings in you, because we've seen a lot. And even with that, like, when there's just somebody who wants to bring pain on each others because they've been in pain, like, that's like the worst kind of person. It's like, that's why you shouldn't want people to feel pain. Damn it. So, like, I still, all this time, he was like, I think for me, like, I've never been so angry at somebody, and he hurts my little Pilica, and she's so adorable. Poor Pilica.
I have to say, I haven't played either of these games, but now I want to like start them both up immediately, because you guys did such a good job selling these horrible villains. I just want to experience it for myself.
Caden, if you had to cast your vote on who won this debate, where's your vote going?
Well, the one point that Wes had that kind of tipped the scales in his favor for me was the whole idea of the villain actually
Yeah.
succeeding at his
Yeah,
goal.
Yeah,
that
yeah,
Like,
was
yeah,
what I
yeah.
knew was gonna be hard to
yeah,
fight
like I just
against.
want to. I need to know like what happens. Like, where's the story go after the villain
Mhm.
wins? Because you always just beat the villain in these games. So
That's the
that's
fun of it. You want to beat them. You
yeah,
gotta
yeah,
win. You
yeah,
want the
yeah.
villain to win. You want these evil biatches to win.
Exactly,
Well, you'll have to play the game to find out, Caden.
exactly.
Please,
Cool.
please play it.
So, how are you guys feeling? Do you think we need a break, or are we gonna power through the next segment and then take a break? What do you
I
think?
could use a break. I could use a
All
break.
right, we're
All right,
gonna
short
go to
break.
break. All right, we are back from break. I'm gonna toss it over to Jenna real quick to announce the winner of last episode's debate.
All right. So on our last debate, we did the ultimate console war debate with PlayStation versus Xbox. And you know what? Dash represented Xbox to a new level. I don't think I've ever seen anybody be so high up there without slamming slamming PlayStation when they're representing Xbox, and he did it. He did it. A fantastic job. But it wasn't enough. Our good man, Wes Bates, took away the win with 9 votes versus Xbox's 6.
Mm.
That's unbelievable. I honestly can't believe it. Are you sure that you're reading that right?
I
Because
read it right.
I'm pretty sure that Dash smoked me last week.
This is the
You won, man.
original Xbox.
It
No,
was
it's
the
just the platform in general, basically.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
I will accept that win because I think I'm gonna get roasted after this last debate. So I gotta take the wins where I can find them.
Yeah, Dash can
Gonna
come in
end
the
up
future
being
and defend.
split.
Yeah,
all
that's
right,
pretty rough. Cool.
and that's it for the
Well,
debate, man. Take it away, kid.
all right, we're gonna move on to our next segment, the pitch, wherein we each bring one game that we've been playing and have 2 minutes to pitch it to the other panelists, and we'll each decide if we are buying the game or not. I will go first. Count me down.
3, 2, 1, pitch.
Okay, the game I'm bringing this week that I've been playing is called Death's Gambit Afterlife. And this game, I think, came out like 5 years ago or something. It was like an Adult Swim published game or something like that. And it was billed as like Dark Souls cross Metroidvania. And had a lot of problems at launch originally. And over the past few years, in a No Man's Sky-esque comeback, the developers have just been adding and tweaking. And they've relaunched the game as Death's Gambit Afterlife, and I think it's like twice the size of the game originally was. They've like massively expanded the character customization and creation, and they've refined the combat mechanics. And now you can do stuff like animation canceling. You have a slide and a backstep. It's all really crisp. But the game, the premise is you're a soldier who dies in a world where people just can't die. Like everyone's immortal, so whenever someone dies, they just come back from the dead. So that's the in-lore reason where every time you die, you come back. But there's really fun mechanics. Like you're coming back because you literally have a contract with death, and at the beginning of the game, you can go into your inventory and just drop your contract with death out of your inventory and nullify it, and it makes you become mortal. And then you have to play the whole game through on one life and stuff
Oh.
Oh,
like that.
interesting.
And there's like skills you can only have if you're mortal and stuff like that. But the build variety is awesome. It has like the stat customization system like Dark Souls, but it also has classes. So you can increase your aptitude with different weapons by investing in certain stats, but each class also has access to different like active and passive skills for combat and exploration. It's got that Metroidvania progression of like killing bosses and getting like new traversal abilities like double jumps and
10 seconds.
dashes and stuff. And the story's really cool. It's like dark fantasy, and then like halfway through, it transitions into sci-fi when you go into an underground, super advanced
Time.
cyborg. Okay, hit me with your questions.
All right. You want to go in a little bit on the combat and the weaponry of this game?
Yeah, so lots of variety in weapon types, like Dark Souls. So you've got, warhammers, long swords, great swords, bows, double daggers, shields, all that kind of stuff. And then within each of those categories, there's like unique weapons within the type that have different abilities. Like there's a boss that gives you these like fire daggers after you kill it. And while you're attacking enemies, if you keep your hit combo up, it spawns like these fire orbs. And then if you do like a ground slam with the fire orbs out, it creates like pillars of fire. So there's like really cool, unique abilities attached to certain weapons like that. And where the game like threw me for a loop was, as I was alluding to at the end there, about halfway through it, you discover the ruins of an ancient, like advanced, like cyborg civilization underneath like the dark fantasy world, and then you start finding stuff like laser guns and like lightsabers and stuff, and it's like, whoa. So,
Interesting.
yeah,
Wow.
it's cool.
Okay.
It's really cool.
Yeah.
Oh, and you can equip 2 weapons at once, and you have different buttons to attack for each of them. So you can mix and match like combat skills for different weapon types, or you can just have like a melee weapon and a bow. But they also have an interesting system where if you only use one weapon and leave your second slot open, you get like extra moves for the one weapon you have. So it's very versatile and customizable. It's really cool.
That's cool.
Yeah. Oh, I should mention this game is like a pixel art, like 2D side scroller, like old school Metroid and Castlevania and stuff like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, as you know, Metroidvanias are my favorite genre.
Mhm.
I absolutely love them, and this game kind of calls to me in a lot of ways. But you started talking about it a little bit, but as far as so, it sounds like there's a lot of build customization,
Yeah.
which is cool. But in my Metroidvanias, a lot of what I love about those is that the progression is, kind of based on your exploration and, acquiring new skills that way.
Mhm.
Um, is that still mostly present in this game? And how open are you from the beginning of the game as you start? Can you pick multiple directions to go, or is it fairly like, okay, you have to be in this section first to get this ability, and then you have to move to this section and get this ability, and then move down here? How
That's
does it
a
go in that way?
Yeah, that's a great question. When I think of Dark Souls, some people like consider Dark Souls like a Metroidvania, which I personally don't because of what you just said. Like in Dark Souls, you do not get like new abilities that unlock new areas in the environment, It's
Mhm.
just like getting keys or whatever. And so this game has like the character combat build variety of Dark Souls, but at the same time, as you're defeating bosses, you do get new traversal abilities that unlock new areas. So most of them you get within the first, like, I don't know, 3 to 4 hours of the game, depending on how good you are at it, I guess. And the beauty of that is once you have all those traversal abilities that early, then the game does open up with a lot of options. So the ones you get pretty early are a double jump, a air dash, and a ground slam that breaks through like breakable barriers on the ground. And once you have those 3, there's more you get later. But those 3 open up the vast majority of the world map. And pretty early on, like after you get those 3 abilities, you come across a mysterious door. And the door's like, you need to go to these 3 areas and kill these 3 bosses to get these keys to open this door. So at that point, you have 3 main areas you need to go to that you can do in any order, but there's also like optional side areas you can go to with optional bosses. So the world map's like incredibly open. And for some people that's kind of a turn off because it can be confusing what you're supposed to do. But if you're into that thing, it's pretty dope.
It sounds good to me.
Cool.
Kim, you got any
Any
questions?
Yeah.
Sorry, forgot I muted my mic there. I'm just curious, like, how it would compare to you to other, Metroidvanias.
Mm.
Like, what would you put it ahead of? What would you put it below?
For me, like I really like digging into the meatiness of it and like the character building and like the amount of content. Like it's just a really big meaty game, which reminds me a lot of like something like Hollow Knight. So
Mhm.
I do still think like Hollow Knight holds the crown of like the best Metroidvania for me. So I one that like kind of is almost like on par for Hollow Knight to me is something like Ori and the Will of the Wisps. So just from like a gameplay and like an amount of content and that kind of stuff, I might put it on like the same tier as like Will of the Wisps, like just below Hollow Knight. You know, it's like, yeah, I think it's awesome.
Did you finish this game already?
I've not finished it, so that's the caveat. So it could turn
Okay.
to shit on the last half, but I'm loving it so far.
What? How much time have you sunk in?
Oh man, I think I've probably got like 15 to 20 hours so far, and I've got like one of the 3 keys that I need to get through that door I mentioned.
Oh
So,
wow!
yeah.
And do you know the price point?
I can look it up real fast, but it's cheap. I think it's like $15 or $20 or something
Ooh,
like
that is
Yeah, so
it's not too
and it
bad.
goes on sale a lot. I think unfortunately it's just not popular. It's like not a well-known game, so they put it on sale a lot to try and get more of an audience. Yeah, so $20. Um, and then it goes on sale pretty frequently. So,
All right,
All right.
Wes, are you buying?
So I have a little bit of a history with Death's Gambit.
Mm.
I played this game before it came out, back at PlayStation Experience
Oh, so cool.
in like 2015 in San Francisco, which was I think the first time that they actually like debuted the trailer for the game. Obviously, this is an expanded version, a cleaned up version. I bought that game for PlayStation back in 2018. I just didn't have the time for it at that point. This sounds like um, a much bigger, better version based on what you've said and some other things that I've heard about it. Honestly, I have a $20 eShop card burning a hole in my pocket, and I know what I'm putting it towards. So
Heck
you've
yeah.
absolutely told me.
Yes.
You know what? I think I'm gonna take it too, because it being on the Switch, and I don't know where my Switch is at right now, but I got those new Switch Pad Pros. I'm obviously gonna have to beat Metroid Dread first before I hop in this,
Mhm.
but I mean it sounds dope
This
as
is
hell.
like the perfect follow-up to Metroid Dread because that game just goes down super smooth and easy. It's like a 6 to 8 hour game, and then
Mhm.
if you want just a bigger, meatier, longer game, hop into Death's Gambit.
Yeah, so
Nice.
I'll probably pick it up after Metroid Dread. For show.
Sick.
Kim, what are you thinking?
Yeah. Well, I think you've convinced me to give it a try, but God, I have so many like
Yeah,
Metroidvanias right now. Like I have
yeah.
Ender Lilies sitting like on
Mhm.
my Switch right now that I want to really get into,
That's a
and
good game
obviously
too.
Metroid Dread. It's just like every time
Yeah,
I turn around, there's just like another one, and
Yeah.
yeah. We're
so
spoiled
it's
for
like
choice.
I will, if I see it like on a sale or something, I'm sure I'd pick it up though.
Yeah.
Nice.
Cool
All
beans.
right, cool. So next up to the pitcher's mound is Wes Bates. I
All right.
can do your time for you. Let me pull it up. All right, let me know when you're ready for me to count you down.
Whenever you're ready.
3, 2, 1, go.
Let's take a little trip to the past to a remote island off the coast of Japan.
Ooh.
A remote island called Iki Island. I just finished the Ghost of Tsushima Iki Island expansion. And let me tell you, if you enjoy Ghost of Tsushima, you need to play this expansion because it is fantastic. It's about a third of the size of Ghost of Tsushima itself. It's about the size of like one of the zones from the main game. But the topography, the landscape in Iki is very some areas is very different than any of the other islands that you run across. There are old dilapidated villages that are just covered in vines and moss, and it definitely has a more almost tropical feel, I would say, than any of the other areas that you come across on Tsushima. And as far as gameplay, it plays just as good, if not better. It does allow for one new skill set, which is utilizing your horse. You can basically use your horse to run down and trample groups of Mongols as you come across them, which is actually a really fun mechanic. Because you can just like cut a big swath through a group of enemies and then jump off and kind of play cleanup. Jumping back into this game, I haven't played Ghost of Tsushima in about over a
30
year at
seconds.
least. And it took a little bit of time to get used to the controls, and they don't hold your hand like walking you back into the expansion. So you have to spend maybe a little bit of time basically relearning the combat and how it works. But once you pick it back up, it's buttery smooth as usual. It's absolutely gorgeous. Runs in 60 frames per second. I played on PlayStation 5. The color palette is just the best use of color. I maintain to this day the best use of color in almost any video game I've ever played in my life.
Time. All right. So you mentioned you started playing the game on PS4. I actually don't know this, but I assume. But were you able to like port your save to the PS5 version?
Yes, yeah, and
Cool.
it's not hard. You basically just download it off the cloud if you have PlayStation Plus. And then there is an option on the collector's edition, which I was playing. It basically just said like import PS4 save, and you click on it, and it brings it up. And then I had
Yep.
platinumed the game previously, so then I got to see all my lovely
wow.
trophies popping again,
Nice.
which is a if you've never had that happen, that's a fantastic feeling. You're just like, yay, free trophies, woo! No, it was super easy. There wasn't a lot of hoops to jump through for that. I hear that like games like Death Stranding, maybe are a little bit more pretentious as far as getting that save over, but in this case,
Yeah.
it was really easy.
Cool.
That's cool.
My only real question for you is one game that I think did DLC really well in one way is Witcher 3, because even though you can go into those DLCs pretty much like maxed out in terms of your character build, those DLCs like add new systems on top of what's already there for the character progression to just basically add more progression to your character to experience while you're doing the DLC. Is there anything like that in this, or are you just going in like completely maxed out and just like wrecking everything? Or
Well, like I said, if it depends on how much. It depends on when you
Mm,
start, because you can access the Iki Island DLC. I think after a certain number of hours or something in the main game. So if you are just starting the game and you have the DLC, you can access it earlier on.
okay.
But if you're like me and you already had your character maxed out, you have everything unlocked when you go in. But like I said, there are a few new abilities with the horse that you
Mm,
can utilize. They do add some new stuff on the island that wasn't available on the other islands. There's these animal shrines that you can come across, and like for monkeys, deer, and cats, and oftentimes they're kind of overrun Mongols. You clear them out, and then you sit and you will play a just beautifully melodic tune for these animals with your flute, and it utilizes the controller, kind of the motion controls in your controller to kind of like move a light bar. There's like a flow of like a line that kind of flows at you and then it goes up and down, and you have to move the controller up and down to make the bar or the ball of light kind of follow. And so that represents kind of the pitch of your flute as you
mm.
play. It's not hard at all, and it works pretty well. It takes about 15 to 20 seconds each time, but then you get a really nice scene of Gene kind of coaxing the animals towards him. He'll feed them. He gets to pet them. So that's fun to seek out those shrines. There's new legendary quests for new armor sets.
Ooh.
Nice.
I got a pretty killer new set of armor that basically had the kind of like spirit of a monkey demon sealed inside of it, and so
Nice.
it actually changed the combat quite a bit because it takes away your standard parry, so you can only do perfect parries and perfect
Wow.
evades.
Okay.
But if you pull them off, he does extra moves. He'll basically like blind enemies around him as he evades away, and so then you can get in and get kills easier, or it turns your parry into a 3-hit parry instead of a 1-hit parry.
Cool.
Um,
That's sick.
yeah, I spent about 10 hours getting through the DLC. I didn't do everything.
Wow. Okay.
There's about a third of the island that I haven't even covered yet. So there's a good amount of content there. And if you like Ghost of Tsushima, um, one thing I didn't mention is the story. It's got a really interesting and personal story for Gene.
Nice.
Cool.
And it ties back to his history with the island, to his history with his father and his relationship to his father, and it's done really, really well.
That's cool.
Better. It's a more intimate and personal story, I think, than I've seen in almost any game that I've played. So
Wow.
they
Okay.
really knocked it out of the park with the story.
So
Cool.
I've played Ghost of Tsushima on my PS5, but it was just a PS4 version. How have they implemented the haptics in this new PS5 version of the game?
So there's obviously things like your bow and arrow, which is a big part of your combat. That all has haptics integrated. Your grappling hook has haptics as well. There's a lot of new doors that you have to basically like pull down using your grappling hook. So you hold one trigger down, he'll swing the grappling hook around, throw it, and then you have to use the left trigger to pull through the wood or pull out the wood.
Oh, okay.
Which is cool. Those were the times that I noticed it most. You notice it a little bit when you're riding your horse. You can kind of feel it a little bit, the thrumming riding your horse. The combat, to be honest, I was so like I get so into the combat that
That you don't know,
I'm not
it.
paying attention to the controller,
Yeah.
especially trying to get back into it when I haven't played it in so long. So I kept trying to think like, I should pay attention to the haptics during fighting, and I didn't because I was more interested and engaged in the combat itself.
You have to
so-
be hyper focused on that combat too, because like one mistake can really screw you for the entire fight.
Yeah. So I wouldn't say that it's like maybe the most detailed or intricate use of the haptics, but it's there in some ways.
Cool.
So it's not like there's nothing.
Yeah.
Very cool. You got a question, Kim?
No, actually, I think I know too much about this one. So
Oh, okay, cool,
Oh,
cool.
okay.
All right. Well, Jenna, are we ready to decide if we're buying or not?
Yeah. So I mean, it's super interesting. Do they have like just like, can I just like upgrade my PS4 game to it, or do I have to buy the whole game all over again?
You can. I believe it's a $10 upgrade, I
Oh,
think.
that's not bad at all.
No.
Wait.
But the actual expansion I think is 30. But I think if you
Oh, okay.
I think it's 30. If you buy the expansion, I think you get the PS5 version of the expansion that you
Okay.
can play.
Cool.
So I think it upgrades. I think. Don't
Okay.
quote me on that.
Okay.
But you can upgrade it.
Okay, cool. Yeah, since I can upgrade it, I think I'll take a look into it. Yeah, for sure.
Very cool.
The load times are just, I mean, they were almost non-existent on PS4, and
Yeah.
now they're just like, you click the thing, it's like, "Burp," it's there. It's like, okay, well,
That's so nice.
guess I'm not gonna take a sip of my drink now. Whatever.
Yeah, like a scroll Twitter. You may have already mentioned this, but I might have missed it. Is this expansion available on the PS4 or is it only on
It
PS5?
is, yeah. You
Oh,
can play it
okay.
on the PS4 as well.
Well, I was gonna say I probably wasn't gonna play it because I don't have a PS5, but Wes himself generously mailed me his old copy of the PS4 version, so now I guess when I play that, I'll pick up Iki Island. So I guess I'm
Yeah,
in.
I would play the early part of the game.
Oh, yeah.
See if you're digging it, see if you're liking it, and if you want more, I mean, it's a slam dunk. It's some of the best story I think in the whole game.
Awesome. What do you think of Kim?
I already played it, so it was a day one purchase, honestly, for me. Like that was one of my favorite games last year, so no questions asked on it. Like,
What
and
was
there's, like,
your takeaway on the DLC?
that was really good. Yeah, I honestly I rank it pretty high. Like, it's hard to get that stuff right, but I thought it was a good amount of content for what you got, and the story just, being more personal. That's my jam. So
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
For sure.
All right, 3 for
Cool.
3. So Wes and I both got 3 for 3 on our pitches, so no pressure, Kim. But you're up next. So
boy.
let me set your timer.
Oh no.
Let's see here. So just let me know when you're ready for me to count you down.
Yeah, give me 1 second.
Mhm.
I wasn't ready for this in my life. No, I'm kidding. All right, deep breath. All right, let's go. Got it. You can count it down.
3, 2, 1, go.
So I don't know if you know this, but Life is Strange, True Colors already has a DLC out, and sadly, people aren't talking about it because I don't think people have realized True Colors was really well done, and they introduced a new character of Alex Chen, who I adored and think's one of the best characters we've had in a long time. But this DLC called Wavelengths switches us over to Steph, who was obviously in True Colors, but we also know Steph from Before the Storm, when she, we first met her as a passionate, like, dungeon master and gifted artist. And what I love about Steph is there's something about her that's just, like, inherently cool, but she's still, like, she gets so passionate about every hobby that she's into, like, with no, like, no qualms. Like, I doesn't feel like she's gonna be embarrassed, and she just completely, like, indulges in her interest, and that wins you over. So in this DLC, you're playing as her, on a day through 4 seasons, as a job as a DJ. So you, like, pick the music that comes up, and you get calls, and you answer people's, like, advice, and you get your own dating profile, and you get to swipe on people and try to, like, see if you can find love for her. And let me tell you, I got ghosted a few times because I would say something wrong, and then I, like, got matched with the bot at
30
one
seconds.
point. Like, it's so much fun to go through. So the biggest part is that you also learn more about Steph as a character, how the whole situation from the first season of Life is Strange and what happened before the storm affected her, and getting that context is awesome, and it's just a really fun DLC.
Fine.
Nice.
All right. Tell me more about the Dungeons and Dragons aspect, because I love Dungeons and Dragons.
Yes, they bring that back. So yeah, she had her good friend Mikey from Before the Storm, who she would play Dungeons and Dragons with, and well, a Dungeons and Dragon like game, since
Sure,
they can't
tabletop
say it
role
is,
playing. Yeah.
tabletop role playing. But and so you get to play that, create the stories again with her, and kind of feeling where that game will go. And also, like, her friendship with Mikey now is a little more complicated based on the events of Before the Storm, when, you know, stuff happened in Arcadia Bay, and they're all still trying to figure it out. But one of the things I like is that she's now moved to Haven Springs, Colorado, so they play through the computer. And it just reminded me a little bit of, like, COVID, of us trying to still do our hobbies with people over it. And it's just really fun because you get to pick sometimes, are you gonna, like, give the characters some extra, support to kind of win the final battle, or are you gonna try to make it where it's this, like, life or death situation? Should the character die, heroically? You have those decisions, and Steph is always super creative too, which, like, I love that they indulge in that and haven't abandoned her character, but also, like, get more into her love for music. And she was previously a drummer in a band, and you learn more about that as well.
That's cool.
Yeah, that's awesome. What kind of questions you guys got?
I'm just curious. So since this is a DLC, and I think, Steph is obviously, I think, one of the main characters in True Colors. You're saying Before
Yeah.
the Storm.
I kept almost doing that when I was saying it, so I was like, don't say the wrong one.
Yeah. So I was wondering, is this does this play into the story of True Colors in a meaningful way, or is this more of a kind of side story? Just I guess maybe fleshing the character of Steph out more.
So
What's in your opinion?
it is a prequel to the events, and
Oh, okay.
does lead to where things end up with True Colors. I think it is more about Steph and learning about her, and it gives you more context for the place she is at when you start True Colors, because in True Colors, she's been around Haven Springs for a bit. You can tell she's getting, like, a little antsy and wanting to figure out more with her life. But here you learn what brought her to Haven Springs in the first place. And it kind of just gives you more context into, who she is as a person, and that time we missed between, like, Before the Storm and the start of True Colors. So it's, I would say, I want to preface this. You should have played before. I recommend playing Before the Storm and the first season of Life is Strange before playing this, because this has a lot more callbacks than True Colors did to any of those previous games. And I think you miss some of those moments. You could get by, but I think they hit a little more you just get the context that you would want and need, especially as a fan, and the little references that would go over your head otherwise.
Very cool.
Nice.
Any questions, Jonah?
I'm looking into getting into the series
Yeah.
maybe next year because I'm working with my mom to get a Switch right now, so she can like I'm trying to get my mom into games, and
Yes.
Oh,
this
that's
is
awesome.
this is this series is a series I'm trying to get her and my aunt into, so I might be playing that with them. So uh just to avoid spoilers, I don't really
Mhm.
want to ask any questions.
Yeah, no,
I
totally
Yeah,
understand.
for sure.
one follow-up question. So, as somebody that has played Before the Storm, I haven't completed Life is Strange 1. I'm like halfway through it. Um, but would you recommend playing this DLC? I have True Colors. I'm interested in playing True
Mhm.
Colors. Would you recommend playing this DLC before you play True Colors, or would it be better as a follow-up since it is a DLC that was released after the game came out?
I feel like it's better as a follow-up
Okay.
because you'll start to appreciate certain things of like, oh, this makes more sense now, but you wouldn't have had that if you hadn't played True Colors. So, yeah, I would say play through True Colors and then go through this.
Okay. Cool.
All right. Jonah, you buying after you buy your family
It'd be
Switch and a
it'd
copy?
be an eventually if I really get into the series, yeah, for sure.
Yeah. What do you think, Wes?
Well, like I just alluded to, I bought Two Colors already. I haven't played it,
Cool.
but I absolutely loved Before the Storm. I thought it was great, and that section where you are interacting with Steph, I think was one of the best parts of that game. It's one of the
There's something that's very much like that in this game that you'll really like that just brings it to oh no, wait. Sorry. In True Colors that you'll really like that brings
yeah
that back. So, I'm
yeah
excited for
it
you to play that.
it I played it a while ago. I think it was like beginning of last year or something like that. So it's been quite a while, but that character really stands out to me a lot more
Mhm.
than a lot of the other characters that I recall from that game. And so if I play through Colors, I can't see myself not picking this DLC up probably. So I think it's a
Sweet.
win.
Yeah, for myself, True Colors seems like a really great point to jump in on the series. Before we start recording, I was reading the Game Informer review, which you did, Kim, right, for
Yep.
True Colors. Yeah, and that really sold me on the game. How impressive the narrative sounds in that game. So, yeah, I imagine if I play that, especially with the tabletop role playing aspect, this is a win for me. And I met my wife before I ever had to delve into the world of dating apps, so maybe I can vicariously get that experience through playing
That's
the
what I liked
DLC.
about it. Yeah, I've never
Yeah.
had to do that. I was like, "Oh, well, this is
Ooh,
interesting."
swiping on people. Yeah, so cool. Yeah, I guess I'm in. All right.
Nice.
So a maybe from Jonah and two yeses. It's a majority. So count that as a win, I guess. But
Woo!
Woo!
I win.
well, we've made it to the end of the podcast. Congratulations, everyone. We'll just go around real quick and get everyone's final thoughts.
Wait,
Did
what?
I forget?
The
Oh
end of the
man, what is
podcast?
wrong
We
with
have a
me?
whole segment.
Yeah,
Are you just trying to
hey,
skip over the game because you're nervous about, your
it's
performance
probably because I was in
there?
a car wreck
Or...
yesterday. I'm addle-brained. I can't keep track of anything. So yeah, uh, I will turn the podcast over to Wes Bates for the game.
Thank you. Let's not forget, I put a lot of time in this game. We're gonna
Yeah,
play
man, I'm sorry, guys.
it. All good. Okay, so since Kim is on the show, anybody that knows her, follows her, knows that she is a very, very big JRPG or RPG enthusiast. So I thought it would be fun to do a little game talking about RPG kingdoms, realms, and worlds. So I've created a short trivia game. It's multiple choice, but it's called it's RP Geography. And so how this game works is I'm going to give you the name of a kingdom, realm, or world, And I'm going to give you 3 options, and you have to tell me which game that kingdom, realm, or world came from.
All right,
So,
let's
any
go.
Do it as a
questions?
team?
No, it's everybody. Everybody gives their own answers, what they think.
Cool. I'll keep
I
score for
will-
everyone.
Sweet.
Oh, you're going to keep score?
Yeah.
Cool. That makes it easy for me. Any questions before we get started?
Let's do it.
Let's go.
All right,
Let's go.
let's
All
do it.
right. All right. The first location, Granzis. Is Granzis from A, Breath of Fire, B, Dragon's Dogma, or C, Grandia 2?
I'm gonna go Dragon's Dogma on this one.
I've only played one of these games, so Dragon's Dogma.
It's okay to copy our answers if we seem confident.
Or lack thereof confidence.
I feel like I know this, and that's what's bothering me, and I'm blanking.
This one's for the hashtag and it's shout out to WoW.
I'm gonna copy their answer.
All right.
It is B, Dragon's Dogma.
Okay, I haven't played Dragon's Dogma. Whew, okay. That's what I was like. I'm like, I don't think it's from the ones I know, but whew.
Process of
Okay.
elimination.
All right.
All right, I'm glad I followed the crowd.
That was a wise choice. The next location, Rivellon. Is Rivellon from A, Pillars of Eternity, B, Tales of Symphonia, or C, Divinity Original Sin 2?
Oh man.
C.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with C. I thought you said Revlon at first. And I was like, makeup?
I'm pretty sure, yeah, it's C because I've played like 80 hours of that game and it seems right. So
It's C, Divinity Original Sin 2.
Yay!
Those are
Antac would be
attorney
proud
avenue.
of us.
All right, the next one is Lindblum. Is Lindblum from Trials of Mana, Final Fantasy IX, or Dragon Quest VII?
I'm just gonna guess 9 because I have a weird gut feeling, but I have no idea really. So
I am gonna copy Caden's answer because I have no idea.
yes. Lindblum.
I thought that was an Earthbound place. Am I
What are you thinking? What Earthbound place?
Well, Lindblum apparently.
Isn't there a Limbloom in or Is it Limbloom or Blom pronunciation?
Lindblum.
I think
Apologies
in
if
the
I butcher the
Earthbound,
pronunciation.
I mispronounce everything and I get called on it, so don't worry about it. This is so with a U. What are the options again?
Trials of Mana, Final
It's not
Fantasy
Trials.
IX, or Dragon Quest VII.
Going with Final Fantasy IX.
It's Final Fantasy IX!
Yay! Riding those coattails, baby.
If I recall correctly, Lindblum was the kingdom where you get the airship. Where the king had been turned into like a
Yeah.
little like flea guy.
Well, like,
Whatever.
I'm looking this up with Earthbound because it's gonna drive me nuts. Sorry, Earthbound's one of my favorite games.
Oh,
and like
that's
I'm confusing
my
it
all-time
with-
favorite RPG.
All right, we're gonna keep moving though. The next one is Gallia. Is
Ooh.
Gallia from Valkyrie Profile, Atelier Ryza, or Valkyria Chronicles?
Trying to fake me out. It's Valkyria Chronicles.
Going with Caden again because I have no idea.
It's Valkyria because it's not the whatever the first one was he called.
It's Valkyria Chronicles, yes.
I dedicate
Alright.
this one to Jimmy Good from Critical Reviews because I watched him stream that entire game.
Have you played it yourself?
Yeah, I played through the first one, but haven't finished the second one. I have a point of order, Wes. If we all tie at the end, do I just automatically win since they're all copying me?
Yes, yes you do.
I the one I said first.
That's true. that's true.
Divinity. That was the only one
No,
that
That's
like.
fair.
you win if we tie because I don't.
Yeah.
No, go ahead. I just.
All right. The next one is Trodain. Is Trodain from Suikoden 2, Dragon Quest 8, or Ni no Kuni 2?
Oh,
Dragon Quest
man.
8.
So confident. Just for the sake of drama, I'm not gonna copy Kim, and I'm gonna say Nino Kuni 2.
For the sake of drama, I'm gonna copy Kim.
You should have copied Kim. It's Dragon Quest 8.
Yes!
Dang it! Still behind the
I
point.
love that one.
Need to replay it. That was the first one I ever played, the first Dragon Quest. It's so good. Yeah.
Remember King Trode from the Kingdom of Trodain.
Yep. When you said that, I was like, okay, that's one I actually do know. For once.
All right.
Yeah.
The next one is the Holy Kingdom of Fergus.
Oh,
is
sounds
that-
so familiar?
Phantasy Star 4, Golden Sun, or Fire Emblem Three Houses.
Oh, Fire Emblem. 3 Houses.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to say Fire Emblem Three Houses.
Fire Emblem Three Houses is one of my favorite games. And that sounds familiar, but I'm also torn by if this was something I saw on Phantasy Star.
Can we have a bonus point if we can name, like, which of the 3...
I'm gonna go with the crowd again.
Yeah.
It is Fire Emblem. Yes.
Cute, okay.
Which house was it, Caden?
Oh, man. I want to say that's the kingdom that the Dimitri's from, the blue guy with the blonde hair.
You're correct. It is the
Yes.
Blue Lions.
That's the guy I don't, yeah.
Can I have a bonus point for that?
That's the guy I don't
No,
like.
no bonus points.
Okay.
You're just trying to tie with me. I see.
I
how
gotta
it is.
claw back, yeah.
All right. The next one, and I apologize again if I screw up the pronunciation. Liberal. Liberal.
So-
Liberel.
Interesting name.
Is that Trails of Cold Steel, Radiant Historia, or Octopath Traveler?
God. I'm just gonna say Octopath Traveler because it's the only one I've played, but I have no idea. Is it neighboring the kingdom of Conservatoria? Like,
So I was just gonna say Octopath, not copying Caden this time. I was just guessing, so I'm gonna say
legitimate answer.
Yeah, legitimate answer.
What are the other Octopath?
It was Trails of Cold Steel, Radiant Historia, or Octopath.
God, it's been forever since I've played Radiant Historia, so I wouldn't even remember. Sounds like something dumb Cold Steel would do.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with Cold Steel to be different, and I'm gonna feel bad because I have a feeling I'm wrong. But
It's Cold Steel.
Oh!
do you like the logic there? It sounds like something dumb Cold Steel would do.
Kim
threw
pulls
that-
ahead of Joda by 1 point.
I threw that one in just for you, Kim, because I know you're a big Trails of Cold
Yeah,
Steel
no,
fan.
I was like, I think that's Cold Steel, but like, it's one of those things where you go, is that too obvious that is in there? Like, am I thinking? And then it's been forever since I've played Radiant Historia, which is a great game, by the way, and I wish there were more ways to play it.
Yeah.
Because I'm due for a replay on that.
Yep. All right. Next one. Evilise. Is Evilise from Final Fantasy Tactics, Final Fantasy 12, or Vagrant Story?
I'm gonna let everybody else answer first because I definitely know the answer to this.
I'm gonna say Final Fantasy Tactics based on Caden's confidence.
That's Tactics.
This is weird because it's definitely Final Fantasy 12, but I think Tactics and 12 might take place in the same world. But I'm saying Final
Oh.
Fantasy 12.
And
So,
I hate Final Fantasy 12. We've been through this before,
Yeah.
so.
It's a trick question. Evilise is in all 3 games.
Oh,
You all get a
we all get a
point.
point. So what was the Vagrant Stories also on Evilise? That's so interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess, yeah.
So cool.
Good trick question. Like
Yeah.
it.
All right. Yeah. Well, it's a positive trick question. Nobody loses.
Yay!
The next one. Tamriel. Is Tamriel from Dragon Age, Elder Scrolls, or Neverwinter Nights?
I also
Elder
know this
Scrolls!
one. Okay, well, he knows it too.
Elder
Elder
Scrolls,
Scrolls.
yeah. Don't they have like an expansion or something named after it? Or
Isn't that what
I mean,
Elder Scrolls
Tamriel
Online?
is the Tamriel is the name of the whole like vicinity where
Yeah.
all like Skyrim and
Yeah,
all
but
of-
I thought
you know,
they have
they're-
like
they're
I thought
all in
it's in one
Tamriel,
of their
so-
game titles
I
or
think
like
the online
something.
one has like a subtitle. that
Yeah,
just
it's
says,
like Elder Scrolls Online.
Unlimited.
Yeah, Tamriel
Online.
Unlimited.
Tamriel Unlimited.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah. I
Thanks,
think
Ken.
that's-
You
yeah.
got it.
A tongue tied there.
All right, 3 more. The next one is Gotza. Is Gotza from Wild Arms, Lost Odyssey, or Chrono Cross?
Oh lord, Goatsa? That's too close to Goatsy. We'll say I'm just gonna say Lost Odyssey just because I really want to play that game and I haven't been able to yet. So represent.
So it's Wild Arms.
God,
What were the other ones besides?
Chrono Cross, Lost Odyssey.
Goatsa.
I'm gonna go with Wild Arms.
I'm gonna split the difference and go right in the middle, whatever one they didn't pick.
Okay, so Jonas says Chrono Cross. The answer was Lost Odyssey.
Oh.
You goats to be kidding me.
Nice. So Kim is in the lead with 1 point, and Jonah and I are tied.
Oh gosh.
All right, we got 2 left.
No.
The next one is More Ardain. More Ardain. Is More Ardain from Xenoblade Chronicles, Path of Exile, or Planescape Torment?
Oh,
Whoa.
I thought I knew, but I have no idea.
Only one of these is a JRPG. So
Well, this isn't all JRPGs. This is RPG.
okay.
Yeah, it's RPGography.
More Ordain. What was the first option?
Xenoblade Chronicles.
The only one of these I've played is Path of Exile, and it's like ringing a bell, so I'm just gonna guess Path of Exile. So
I will also say Path of Exile.
I honestly don't know. And I don't want to like go with the crew either. Oh god.
Xenoblade or Planescape? If you're not going with the crew.
I'll go Planescape.
The answer was Xenoblade.
Oh man, see, I
almost
told
said
you it was a
Xenoblade.
JRPG.
Got you on that one. All right,
Yeah.
here's the last one.
Oh no.
Eagle Land.
What?
Is Eagle Land from Blue Dragon, Earthbound, or Sword of Mana?
Sounds like
Earthbound.
some Earthbound shit.
Yeah, I was gonna say Earthbound.
Earthbound. That shit I know. Can I swear on this? I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
it's all good.
All right,
Good the entire time till then. The Earthbound appeal.
Okay, it's worth it.
Did everybody answer?
Yeah, everyone
Yes.
said Earthbound, right?
Mhm.
The answer is Earthbound.
Yay!
Yay!
Knew that.
So how'd we do, Caden?
John and I are tied with 9 points for second place, and Kim pulled ahead with 10 points for the win. So
Yay!
you gotta win with 1 point.
Not my best work, but that last one, that one and the Dragon Quest question, I felt good about. I was like, all right.
I was surprised how many we did know. I think I would not retain that information. but
Yeah,
did
I was
somehow.
surprised
Yes,
by
see,
how many I knew, you know? It was like crazy.
Between all of you, you got it.
I remember scenes and how games make me feel and characters, but gosh, I do not pay attention to location names, so this made me very nervous.
Mhm.
You did all right.
Woo.
Good job.
All right, Caden,
Well-
you're allowed to close out the show now.
Got it this time. Well, I just want to take a second to thank Wes for running the game. Always a pleasure. We appreciate the work you put into crafting those for
Yeah,
us.
that was fun.
Yeah, so we'll just go around to do our final thoughts. As our guest, Kim, we'll let you go first. Anything you want to plug or social media you want to plug or just random final thoughts, just whatever you want to make of it.
Social media, you can check me out at kstar1785. And right now, like we talked about earlier, if you want to read what anime made it on our list for anime for gamers, we did anime that involves video games in some way, and there's a lot of cool and clever titles on there. That is also on GameInformer.com right now. And I think that's about it. I mean, I'm going to be reviewing NHL soon, so my sports fans, get ready for that. That's a game I invest like 500 hours in a year.
Oh
So,
man.
Nice.
yeah, I'm excited because they're changing up the metagame a little this year. So, can't wait to get that in my hands. And that game drops on the 15th, so soon.
Cool. Cool
Nice.
beans.
Awesome. Cool. Jonah, final thoughts?
Big thank you to Kim for coming on. It's always fun to have GI here. I've been a big fan of Game Informer, oh god, since I was like a wee lad for like the last like 15 plus years. So I'm like, this is super cool to meet you. We've got a game club for Metroid Dread in November. We are still working on the date when we're gonna do our little meetup. But
Nope, we got it. We got it. November 14th.
that's right, November 14th.
14th.
November 14th is when we're doing our game club for Metroid Dread. Thank you, Wes. You are, this thing would burn down without you. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
But yeah, be kind to each other. Have fun. Play games.
Wes, final thoughts?
I just kind of want to follow what Jonah said. Just Kim, it's been a pleasure having you here. We really appreciate your time and your willingness to come on our little show. It's been awesome. You had an amazing debate, and I am honored to be able to debate you on the show. So thank you so much. I will give a quick Game Informer plug since Kim's here. GI editor Brian Shea just started a brand new podcast. It's a Nintendo podcast for Game Informer. I just caught the first episode on Friday, and it's wonderful. So if you like Nintendo and you want more Nintendo goodness, please check out Game Informer's new Nintendo podcast with Brian Shea. It's really great.
All right, cool. So just to plug our media, we're on Twitter at Great Game Debate, and it's spelled DB the number 8 debate. That makes sense. And then we're on YouTube as the Great Game Debate. Either of those places, you should be able to find a link to our Discord, the Great Game Debate. And everyone's welcome. It's a super chill place, non-toxic. Everyone's really cool. We just talk about video games and other media. As they've already talked about, we do a game club every couple months or so. It's a great time, so come join us. My final thoughts, before the show, during our mic check, I was reading a homebrew supplement for D&D with an ability called Dexterous Toes that lets you use your toes the same you could your hands. And I haven't been able to stop thinking about making a spellcasting character that casts spells with his toes instead of his hands. So yeah, I'll leave you with that. I've been your host, Kaden Birthday Lane, and as always, happy gaming. Bye.
Bye, everybody.
As always, a big thank you to our friend Misdriven for the music in our podcast. If you like what you hear and you want to check out more of what they have, you can pay them a visit on Twitter at MIST_RIVEN719 or on Bandcamp at Misdriven. Thanks again for tuning in. Till next time.